Okay, let's just let the camera roll and let me answer this question, which my friends have been asking me. Rahim, I want to get into FPV, so which DJI drone should I get? The Avata or the DJI FPV? No fancy intro, I'm gonna get straight into it because Rahim always has too much to talk and my episodes have been way too long, alright? And so I'm just gonna let you know, alright? These two drones, the Avata and the DJI FPV, are very capable flyers, alright? They are great drones, great FPV drones from DJI. I mean, they're not perfect, of course. It's DJI, alright? It's a commercial level of drones versus if you really want to get into drones and you want the best of the best, then you can either go buy something off the shelf, a DIY drone, or really DIY it yourself. Go and build yourself your own drone, right? Now that will be then your perfect drone. But now I'm just talking about something that you can get off the shelf. Let's get some simple things out of the way. Is that this is not an in-depth review, alright? I just want to differentiate for you and hopefully help you decide on which drone you should get, right? Be it the Avata or the DJI FPV. For the haters out there, you can say whatever you want to bash DJI, to bash me even, but end of the day, I'm just answering to friends that really don't want to get into DIY. They just want to get a DJI off-the-shelf commercial level FPV drone, right? As simple as that. Let me just start off with things that are the same about these two drones. Is that both of them are big drones, considered big. I mean, for the DJI size, they are not the underweight class, alright? Both are above 250 grams, which means you will have to register them, especially in Singapore, right? Anything above 250 grams, you will have to get them registered. Flight time is about the same. Now, the DJI FPV goes for teens of minutes, but actually if in high power use, you'll be lucky to get 10 minutes. And then for the Avata, also teens of minutes, but I got around a 15-minute flight time for the Avata. Now, both are easy to control. They can be controlled with the motion controller, alright? Basically just a joystick for you to point in whatever direction you want to go, or you want something more control, alright? Not something more control, but you just want more control, then you can go with the RC controller and pair it up with either of these drones. Both of them come with high quality cameras, meaning you can record up to 4K, you can go up to high frame rates of 60 FPS, 100, 120 FPS, somewhere around there, alright? And they also give you a great feed through your goggles. Trust me when I say the view through the goggles is absolutely gorgeous, alright? I came from DIY drones and I used to fly analog, and then when I switched over to digital, right, these drones are digital signal drones. So crisp and clear, right? I can even see the lines of kites to that point, right, in high detail. Almost the same as what if I were to take a video of the scenery and it's projected directly in the goggles. Versus analog, you'll get a lot of static and the picture quality is not as good, right? Or at least from where I came from. Going up to digital has been great, and then in this whole package of a drone, then you get what is typical of DJI, right? You get all the safety features. Anything goes wrong, just press the pause button and then it will just return home and even land right in front of you. That kind of level of safety features are already included. GPS lock, proximity sensing and all that, right? I'm not gonna get into all that, but as I mentioned, I don't want to get in depth. You can go and check out my reviews on these drones, but I'm now gonna share with you the differences about these two. Just a short intro of what would have influenced the design of the DJI FPV and Avata, right? What I have here is a 5-inch drone, which is a DIY drone, right? But you could either build it yourself or you could get it off the shelf. I got mine off the shelf, but of course I also did build DIY drones before. So nonetheless, this is considered a 5-inch drone because of its size and the prop size that it takes, right? Then this is considered a Cinewhoop kind of drone, right? Cine, right? That is a keyword from this drone. So why am I bringing this up? Because these two are totally different drones for different jobs, right? Not only by design, but they have different tasks that they are meant to do. For example, one would buy a 5-inch drone because of its power, right? The capability to climb fast, to go fast, and then to also go the range, right? If you wanted to do some long range shit, then a 5-inch at least would be ideal for that. Why 5-inch? Because of the prop size and its build, it handles being in the air easier, right? Now, for the most of us, what else do we do with 5-inch drones? Is besides racing, we also do freestyle acrobatics. We will put on a GoPro camera and then capture some cinematic escapes and freestyle. Then that is also when sometimes you don't want to do just freestyle. Oh, by the way, freestyle will need such a drone which is agile, right? Very agile. You just send it whichever direction you want it to go according to your sticks and it will go. But then we have the Cinewhoop, right? It came from the word whoops, which were drones of this type, which are ducted drones, or should I say drones with prop guards also, like for this one. Whoops are much smaller than this, and typically they would be used for a bit of freestyle, but mostly indoor racing, right? With all these bumpers, it makes it very easy to fly in close proximity, and also you kind of wouldn't be fearful of flying it around yourself, around your friends, okay, of course with their consent. But the point is, it is a safer drone in that sense, right? And with that is where also they started making bigger whoops, Cinewhoops, where people would then end up putting GoPros or naked GoPros, at least for this size, and then also like the Insta360 GO cam, very small cams. The point is, you could get cinematic footage done with this drone for that task. Cinematics, there is little to no intent of, or at least myself, I have no intent when I got this drone and I put on a GoPro on top. I had no intent to go and fly it freestyle and do all the fancy acrobatic stuff. I just wanna slow cruise, put in some chillax music, and then just, yeah, cinematics, right? Something more appeasing that is not so dizzying to watch. So for myself, having the DJI FPV meant that it felt familiar, like a 5-inch drone, but this is a heavy bugger, alright? It's much heavier. It carries a 6S battery, supposedly to be more powerful, but then again, it's hauling some weight, so it wasn't as agile. Now DJI corrected that with some firmware updates, but it's still obviously not as responsive as a DIY drone. So what do I use this for? Mainly for range, right? For the ability to soar the skies and not really worrying, can I or can I not handle the windy conditions up there, right? So this is a strong, capable drone for soaring the skies, right? Tearing it up a bit here and there with acrobatics. But then again, I also got the Avata simply because I want to do cinematics, right? This is then where I would do the same job as a Cinewhoop. Great camera, ducted, right, or prop guards, right? This is, and it handles very mild. It's superbly mild compared to the DJI FPV, where this is much more softer on the sticks, at least using my rates lah. But with that, lets me control this drone easier, much more easier indoors, in tight spaces, around myself. This is, yeah, safe. It's safer lah, of course. No drone is ever safe, but then again, this is the safer choice. And so that's where I just wanted to point out at you, it is that simple, right? Each one of these has its individual job. Go and soar the skies with this, but I wouldn't fly indoors with this. Then again, there is the Avata, which is not that great at open spaces, because I did fly in an open field with a lot of wind by the seaside. It didn't really handle it very well, right? I really needed to push the throttle a lot, and that's not ideal. I don't want to be on high throttle all the time anyways. This is more reserved for that job of cinematics, indoors, and chill flying. Comparing the two drones, it's as simple as that, choosing the drone on which type of job you want it to do. But now let's compare the combo, the set that it comes with. Alright, so DJI FPV comes with the Goggles V2, and then there is the controller, the RC controller. I don't know whatever they call this thing, but the RC controller, and it is a complete package in my opinion. That you could also additionally purchase the motion controller, right? Something to toy around. It really makes for easy cruising, easy controls, right? You don't need to figure out what is pitch, your roll, and how to deal with the throttle and all that. You just point and shoot, as simple as that. But of course, flying an FPV drone, ideally get yourself a remote control, because you, for both drones, not only do they fly normal and sport mode, which is like the camera drones of Phantom, Mavics and all that, it also allows you manual mode. Now, I'm not gonna enter or talk too much about manual mode, simply because I have enough tutorials on that. Now, if you are interested, go and check out the links later. I'll put it at the end of this episode, okay? The DJI FPV Combo is a complete combo. It comes ready for you to get into FPV and explore further with manual mode. The Avata, on the other hand, has a problem because it comes with the new goggles, alright? Goggles 2, they call it. It's gonna get confusing, guys, but you can also check out my video on that. So it comes with the Goggles 2, which is an upgrade of the Goggles V1. What? Not Goggles V1, Goggles. The name is just Goggles. So it's an upgrade of that, which is meant to not only give you FPV, but it has head tracker. Now that is something very fun. Okay, by the way, the combo is gonna be this, Goggles 2, and then there is your motion controller. No RC, motion controller. So, head tracker, I have had a lot of fun with it, where you have this like sightseeing mode, like explorer mode, as simple as just point and shoot, not caring about exactly where you need to go or how to deal with the controls. Just point to a certain direction and get moving, right? Pull the trigger and get moving. And that's where with head tracker, you could be in the same direction, but you can move your head around. It really feels like you're in a flight simulator, right? It's as close to that. Can the DJI FPV do that? No, it can't, because it does not have, if you were to buy that combo, it does not come with head tracker setup. So that's the part I like about the Avata, is that you have the head tracker mode to explore. But that is about it, alright? With the controls, you can't go into manual mode. It is limiting you by buying the kit, the basic combo, right? Of the Goggles 2 and the motion controller. You're limited to just doing that. Where, Rahim, I want to learn manual mode. Sorry, my friend, you'll have to go and get the transmitter separately. Here's the deal. Okay, there are some problems going on. Okay, I'll come to that very soon. So, point is, getting the Avata kit is just gonna be limiting, right? Unless you get the RC controller. But of course, if you're not interested in all that and you just want to fly with the Avata, then you also have the option that comes with the FPV Goggles V2, right? So you check out the details in DJI's website. There are the versions there, and they will describe to you whatever you need to know. So just now was about the individual combos. Now I'm gonna get into some issues with the individual drones, right? So I'll start off with the DJI FPV. First off is that this is not a very crash worthy drone, right? You see that I have got the braces on because I have actually broken the arm before, and I felt that, okay, right, maybe it's time that you put on some braces for the DJI FPV. If you needed to get it repaired, you'd have to most likely send it back to DJI. It used to have issues in the air, but right now, after firmware updates, it's a bit more stable. Alright, doesn't tremble as much, doesn't have as bad as something called prop wash. Right. For myself, I actually have upgraded the top hats, right, of the motors, simply because I don't want to use the pop in pop out kind of props that came with the DJI FPV. Instead, I want to run my own props. Right. These are exactly the same size as what's used on 5-inch drones. Not really for easy exchange or maintenance, but it's more just that I want to try different props that suit maybe my flying style. And oh, by the way, even though there's camera stabilization, I normally fly without it, just so that I can see how the drone handles as I'm taking maneuvers. Okay, next, now with such a big drone, it comes with a big bat. Now this bat is not cheap, guys. It is about 200 Singapore dollars. It is not cheap, but it is a smart battery, something that is really required, especially for lipos. You don't want to have it fully charged and then leave it alone, right? The battery will take care of you in a sense that left alone for too long, it will discharge on its own, right, safely. Okay, now for the Avata. Avata is having a shitload of issues right now. Okay, it is a more handsome looking drone, alright. It has been designed well in the aesthetics department, right, but by the flight wise, it has some issue. Have a look at how narrow it is from motor to motor, and where is the position of the motor in comparison to where is the bulk of the weight, right, is on top. So what does that mean in flight? It doesn't take changes in its flight very well. It can be changes in direction, okay, sudden turns. The motor, the ESC, whatever, all the whole computing system may not be able to react fast enough to stabilize it, and they have been known to have quite a number of tumbles, right? Guys flying aggressively in the air and then it just falls out from the sky. That to me is just basically you're pushing the limits of the drone. Of course, you should push the limits so that you can know its limits, but the cost of pushing it is a bit expensive because it will just cause stumbles, and if you are not able to recover the drone yourself, it's gonna crash to the ground. It's gonna be very costly, right? So crash worthiness kinda hardier, right? I feel the parts are kinda modular in a sense that you could easily attempt to change parts if required, right? It's not that too technical. Even with prop guards does not mean you're not gonna break props, by the way. I had a simple crash at the butt end and it broke 2 props because props were spinning fast. These parts just flexed in, hit the props, and it just broke off, right? And you only have 2 spare props, right side and left side, in your box. So it totally took out all my spares, and then I had to get new ones. But nonetheless, crash worthiness is on the better side compared to the DJI FPV, alright? So far it has taken some hits, but still okay. And so the main issue that has been around about the Avata is that it doesn't handle in the air very well. But I haven't had any issues. And I guess simply it's just because I'm flying it the way it was meant to fly, or should I say I feel it's meant to fly, which is do cinematic stuff, right? Do cruises, capture nice scenes and that kind of stuff. And you could even fly it indoors. Maybe you have a project that you want to do of real estate or whatsoever, right? Everything is indoors, then this is the safer drone to fly. I will never fly my DJI FPV indoors, right? That's just crazy. But I feel safe with the Avata, so that is what it's meant to do, that job. And see, I told you, right, Rahim will be just talking too much. End of the day, this video I think gonna be closer to 10 minutes. I tried to cut it short. So what would I choose if I starting off right into FPV? Personally, I know I have this FPV interest and I see all these guys flying in manual. Then the simple answer is gonna be the DJI FPV, because firstly, I feel the goggles are bigger. I'm a specky guy. I want the goggles to fit right over my specs, and that's what the FPV Goggles V2 will do, right? Plus, I'm ready. I have the RC. Just get into manual mode. I mean, learn it in the sim first, and then get into manual mode and fly, and you're good to go. Now with the Avata, my hesitance is just that it comes with the motion control. I'll have fun with it, right? But it's gonna be short-lived, and I need to get the RC in order to get into manual mode. Oh, by the way, guys, currently a few guys online have been reporting that actually it is out of stock in many places. So probably you'll have to wait for the next patch. Expanding a bit about that is that with the DJI FPV also, I easily could just get back into my DIY FPV. Exactly the same journey I took was I bought the DJI FPV, I bought myself a digital DIY drone, and I could bind it to my old transmitter that I flew with my N-Log drones. So it was seamless for me, right? But if I did not have the DJI FPV and I got myself an Avata, I don't have much option there. Why? Because I can't fly my drone with any transmitter except for the DJI transmitter. I can't bind my goggles to any of my N-Log drones or digital drones, because now here's the thing. Another way to see it is that the Goggles V2 was meant to match the old air units and Vistas that were powering the video systems, right, inside the DIY drones. That would be the easiest separation also. FPV Goggles V2 that came with the DJI FPV, meant for the guy that already has some idea of getting into DIY drones. If you're not sure, you may or may not get into DIY FPV, then probably the Avata kit is for you. This is me thinking in the long run that if I get the Avata kit, it comes with the Goggles 2. If I choose the Goggles 2 combo, right, I am now ready for what the future is going to present, which is going to be the new air unit versions. And that's just, to me, like moving forward. I mean, yeah, it's going to kind of suck that I can't be flying my DIY FPV. Well, by the way, there is no confirmation right now as of this point whether the Goggles 2 can bind to the old air units. Only the FPV Goggles V2 can do so right now. They do say that there will be backwards compatibility, but as long as the firmware is not out, as long as there's no official announcement on that, I'm not gonna take it, alright? So yeah, I've covered as much as I wanted to say. Basically, if you're going to go big air and really go the distance, soar the skies, I feel the DJI FPV is to do that job. But there are of course a higher price tag, more expensive batteries, and the flight time isn't that great. And then there's the Avata, which is a much easier drone to fly generally, right, at the get-go, because since it comes with the motion controller, you have the new stuff of which is included in the Goggles 2, which is head tracker, and I really love that, and it's something for you to explore and have fun with it, and then probably upgrade with the RC controller and then go into manual mode. Now then, if you had got that complete kit, if you suddenly felt that you want to get into DIY drones, then wait out for when the Air Unit 03 comes out. That's gonna be the new future of the DIY side for digital systems, right? New future, got such word man, new future, alright. Oh, I forgot to mention, the FPV Goggles V2, not only can you pair with the current air units and Vistas, but also you could buy a separate analog unit which you can then also fly analog systems, right, with the digital goggles. But right now, the Goggles 2 does not have that capability, or unless I'm missing out, you guys leave me a comment, right? Okay, simple as that. DJI FPV complete kit for the big air, and then Avata for the tighter spaces. But you'll also need to know that it doesn't come with a complete kit. You can't get into manual mode yet. You'll have to buy yourself the separate RC controller, and also hope that they solve the tumbling issues of the Avata with some firmware updates. Alright guys, I'm gonna rush off and see to other things. So if you wanna learn more about manual mode, now manual mode, either the DJI FPV or the Avata, you can watch the playlist right here. Now if you already decide on the Avata and you wanted to decide whether should I get the Goggles V2 or Goggles 2, now you can watch that episode right here. Right guys, I'll see you in the skies. Peace.